43, verses 18 through 22. If you haven't, say amen. Before we read tonight, tell the person next to you, you better get ready. Tell somebody else who's tired, they still got work on them. You better get ready for new expectation. Yeah, my life ain't gonna be the same after tonight. Let them kids in the back stand up. Stand up for everything there. Let them stand up. Teach your kids the right way. Teach them how to push. Amen. So when greatness and opportunity come, they'll be prepared. Amen. He reigns forevermore. Isaiah says, forget the former things. I want you to do that right now. I want you to forget everything that has been a noose around your neck. Everything that has caused you heartache and pain. Everything that has caused your mind to be set totally on memory. I want you to forget that right now. He said you don't even have to rebuke it no more. He said just forget. You're doing too much work. You're doing work that you don't have to do. He didn't say rebuke it. You don't have to cast that out. You don't have to go and fast on this one. He said, well, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. Amen. Do not dwell. I'm going to stop right there because we're going to have to elaborate. Yes, Holy Ghost. Elaborate on this tonight. Father, we thank you from whom our blessings flow. Open our ears, God, our hearts, our minds, our souls, so that we come in this place with expectation. We are the heads and not the tails. We declare we are the lenders and not the borrowers, above and not beneath. God, we're lacking for nothing. Now I pray tonight on my behalf that you put before me sheep who are ready to follow. Somebody, Lord, who's ready to go forth into an uncharted water, into a new situation. Lord, I thank you tonight that somebody has finally got fed up with being fed up. Somebody tired of being where they are. And tonight, God, they finally became encouraged enough. They finally drawn up enough courage to speak to their problems. They now believe, God, that all they have to do is stand on your word, God. And everything that's broken shall be fixed. You said in your word, God, we have not Jesus because we ask not. God, I ask for peace that surpasses all understanding, God. I thank you for a new mind and a clean heart. Thank you, God, that our ears are anointed. Thank you that our feet follow your word. Thank you that our bodies light up with the light of you that dwell inside of us. God, we thank you. And I thank you, God, that tonight we clap our hands because our lives would never be the same. Those in agreement with that tonight, clap your hands, wave your hands, open your mouth and say hallelujah. Lord, I thank you. I know you're not perfect. God, I know you have some trials. You fumbled the ball once or twice today. But say, God, I'm here right now. Fix me. I'm trying, God, and I keep falling, but fix me. I can't keep my balance, God, but fix me. Got some habits that are hard to break. Oh, fix me. Yes, God. High five 3 people tonight and tell them, Lord, fix me. Now say it like you mean it. This ain't communion. This is go back to hell from which you came, devil service. Tell that devil to go back to hell from which he came. That's that type of service. Yes. Yes. He thought he had you. He thought he had you because he tried to use what God gave you. Called your mind. The devil hasn't created nothing, Donnie. All he do is come in and use or borrow what God has already given us. uses the mind that God has given you. God tells you, let this mind be in you that is be in Christ that is also in you. He said, let that mind be in you that is also in Christ Jesus. Isaiah comes back and reminds us that the first thing he says is forget. Those things which are behind you. In order to forget the things that are behind me, I have to use my mind. The same mind that God gave me is the same mind that Satan uses to try to abuse me. Many of you tonight are in a tough place, more so mentally than physically. Because I don't care what goes on in your life, every day you're going to eat. You're going to feed that flesh. And at times it might not have been anything no more than a bologna sandwich, a cheese sandwich. For those who came up during my time, syrup sandwich. Mama don't care what she had to do. Mama was going to feed you. Before you came tonight, you probably stopped off and got a snack. Because we're going to feed the body. Isaiah tells us to forget those things which are behind us. Forget the former things. Because he knows Satan tries to feed your mind with yesterday's news. So you wonder why you always struggle, why you always miss out, why it always got beyond you, is because you're living in yesterday's news. The first thing they do with the President of the United States, Darcy, if I may, is when he wake up in the morning, every morning at 6:30, he have what they call a debriefing.
That's right.
What the debriefing does, it doesn't tell him what's on the menu downstairs at the White House. What it does is tell him everything that's of need that's going on in the world. That's the first thing he eats every morning. Problems, things that we need to be aware of in the world. The Bible says right here, forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. We cannot get fixed because we still ride in a car that's broken. You know your oil needs changing. And you make the decision to get your hair fixed instead of getting your oil changed. And then you pray from that point to the next pay period that the car will last so you can then get your oil changed. We create a lot of negative memories. A lot of your negative memories, or some of you might call them nightmares, come from you. They come from your decision making. They come from your lack of understanding. And they become nightmares. There's nothing worse than a man who sits at the head of his table at home and can't appreciate the view that sits with him. And it ain't that your family's not pretty, your wife's still attractive, the kids are doing great, but you're just not satisfied because when you look at them, you're constantly reminded of what you did not do. They don't like this.
It's good, Pastor.
When you sit at the head of anything, most times you're going to always be reminded of the things that you miss, called chances or opportunities. Most people get so mad when somebody comes around and says, well, you got that shit. Well, you know, they got these TVs down on the corner right now. They sell them for $200. They hot. You know they stolen. You're not mad that they're stolen. You're mad because when you got down there to purchase one, they all gone. Sarah, they spend the next 3 days at home and work. Remember the former thing.
Yes, sir.
It haunts them like the heat of the sun in July. for 3 days because of something they never had that they wish they would have got. Don't care if it was stolen, that doesn't matter. I can ask God for forgiveness or tell God I bought it at this discount so I can look at TVN larger. It's going to really help captivate my soul. I got it, Lord. I know it was hot, but I had to try to get it because I couldn't let more people come over and watch the Bible story with me. You need fixing.
Amen.
We cannot get beyond the former things because we too much of the time dwell in the past. You can't be married greatly because you're still thinking about a boyfriend. You've been married 4 years, and every time you walk past Clyde, who you dated your high school sweetheart, you still get a twitch. You know who's saying that? Those are the ones who can identify with what I'm saying. They ain't been with him in 40 years, still sleeping, dreaming about it. And you happily have a dream that appeases you, but is a nightmare to your soul. Wanting, lusting for something you can't have. All because of past memories. So many people, I think I read somewhere it says, marriages that were going through the rock, that was on the verge of divorce, they go all the way through counseling. Get through all the counseling, colleague. Go through all the screaming back and forth, calling the names, writing out certain things, going through all the therapy. They make it through the therapy. And a few months later, they get divorced. They were healed from the situation, but their memory took them right back to it. God is mad here with Jacob. He's mad with him because the children of Israel have gone astray. They're trying to live off of what God did in the past. I tell people, Donnie, one of the most devastating things in your relationship with Christ is when something good happened for you spiritually. This is going to get real good, hot and tight. Let me tell you why. Because when God bless you one time, you want to live off that one good blessing for the next half a year. And the reason you want to live off of that because you want to go back to doing what you would. So I remember what he did, how God blessed me over here. He blessed me, but I'm still back out here. I'm doing my thing. You know, I'm doing my thing. But God blessed me over here. Why are we trying to live off a blessing 6 months when we can't drink milk over 30 days before it's time? Milk spoils in 30 days. They say it expires. And if it gets close to the date of expiration, our mind tells us to what? Throw it away. Oh my God. I'm getting some. I'm preaching now. They don't realize it, but I'm preaching. Look at me. I'm over here. Your mind is so jacked up from all the emotional battering that has took place. So the first time you ever drink milk that's sour, you never forget it. So if milk gets close to the expiration date, we toss it. That's the same thing that happens with blessings. If we feel like it's starting to carry over too long, or if we get bad news and we've been feeling great for a while, we want God to expire. We don't say it physically. It's worse, we show it. We show it. The problem with us today is that we don't really look at who always get caught up in the how. The children of Israel right here in the text, they had got to the point where they was worried more so about the how instead of the who. All they wanted to know is, God, what you gonna do next? I don't need fixing as long as you're providing. Mr. Barrett, one of the problems in the household of faith is that we don't correct issues when we need to. So we'll let people keep going on and going on, and it staggers and staggers and staggers until they think they're right. When all along they had a big bullseye on their chest would fix me. Because people in the church are afraid to tell the truth. You know how many people died in the church because they refused to tell the truth, but then hug somebody and tell them, I love you? How can you love something that's broken? And then you have a chance to help heal it or fix it, and you don't. Jesus. How is it that we so soon remember everything negative on your living resume? Honey, back in the 7th grade, honey, she wasn't nothing but a slut. She wasn't nothing, honey. Her mama was. And you'd be like, well, really? Like, that's okay, but Beatrice 45 now. We won't allow people to be fixed. We won't allow people to be fixed. They always bringing up stuff in your past, and then they cry holy, which totally confused the Christian population. How can you judge me and hold your mallet on me and never let me grow because of something I did? The Bible said that there'll always be storms. It says actually there always be trials and tribulations, which is the equivalent to storms. But we always want to keep somebody in the storm, even when the sun has come back out. We want to drag them back into the storm. People can't get fixed in the church because we forgot that iron sharpens iron. We forgot iron sharpens iron. People don't trust the motherboard. They don't go to the motherboard no more like they used to. Back in my day when I was young, you gave reverential fear to the motherboard. Oh, no. That's right. You knew the deacons were kind of gangster. Yeah. But the motherboard, you didn't play with the motherboard. Motherboard spiritually was the strongest thing in the church outside the pastor. Nowadays, church is even lucky to have a motherboard. Especially one who can pray. Especially one who will get together not to eat, but pray. If a mechanic has no tools, how can he fix your automobile? I don't care what he knows if he don't have the tools. He can't fix your car. So if you don't have a prayer life, how you gonna pray me well? We got too many chief surgeons in the church that hasn't taken their rightful place. Full of knowledge, full of God. But they're worried about somebody bringing up and saying, oh, not her, honey, not her. 6 months ago, she was sexy. Said, yeah, but when you saw me at the club them 6 months ago, I was trying to transition from that old wine scheme. I was trying to get that thing. That's why I was dancing by myself. I wasn't dancing. I was trying to get it off of it and leave it at the club. I didn't want to take it to the church because my sin was crazy. I had a crazy thing with Christ really jacked up.
That's right, Pastor.
Because you think because somebody walks a certain way and
Come on now. Preach right.
wear a suit with a collar that they're anointed. That's not true. That's how we get behind. Because we're looking for answers with our natural eyes, with our natural ears, and not our spirit man. People sit in the church, we got such and such in town, they're running to go see him, paying to go see him. And they're praying what I call universal prayers. Your upbringing was unbelievable. Yes, it was. Things happened with your parents that has caused you to this day to still be confused. That's a prophet. This is the $100 line. Yeah. And you leave the same way you went. They haven't spoken not one thing that showed you this is truly somebody of God. A name carries them. Not God's name, but their name. You have to be careful who you allow to fix on you. I love a good shade tree mechanic. The problem is they're hard to find. They're almost obsolete. When something goes wrong, you can't get the part back. They can't go out there and send your part back to the manufacturer to get a new part. Shade tree. When you're trying to be fixed, and I've learned this the hard way, don't shortcut. Don't shortcut God. When you're trying to be fixed, make sure you go to somebody that's reputable. That has all those signs outside, those certified, licensed, that ensures their work. I'm going somewhere.
Come on. Go ahead, Pastor.
They insure the work. But when you start going to all these people who have given themselves a title, they don't insure the work. You have to make sure you go to somebody that's credible. Somebody that's walking the walk. Somebody that's living what they're preaching. You can't just go out here because this joker got 8,000 people at the church. And there's nothing wrong with that, because there are some great preachers out there. But a lot of times at these churches, you know why the people go? Because they're not held accountable.
You better preach that.
Diane, they want to go to church and have perfect attendance and tell everybody the church they go to.
Yes.
And haven't been delivered. They ain't been fixed. The parts that they need are almost obsolete. Been going to church 30 years and still can't go out and define the definition of salvation. How can you fix when the Bible says, by now you should be eating meat, but you're still drinking milk? God is saying, I'm trying to build some spiritual mechanics. Some people who can take a little bit off and go out there and say, I can pray for these over here. Or I can pray for the pastor and don't have to tell him I'm always praying for him. I like mechanics because mechanics work alone. is complete. Normally finished earlier. I like those type of mechanics. I don't want the kind out there, you got to give him a couple dollars to buy the part, then he got to stop over on the... Smoke the cigarette. How many know what I'm talking about? Smoke the cigarette, then he got to buy, can you go get me a quart? That's what comes when you deal with something that's not certified. They're not always there when you need fixing. I'm trying to tell you about somebody tonight named Jesus who's always there. No matter what you need, when you need it, or how you need it. He never puts emphasis on the how. He puts the emphasis on us. We worry too much about how things are going to get done. And don't worry about what's in us. What's in you helps predetermine the things you answer. Let me say it like that. What's in you helps you make decisions. It guides you, because we said a couple of weeks ago that your emotions they're gauges. The emotions are gauges. They let you know what's going on. And then when you move from the gauge, your spirit man should guide you. We're letting our emotions guide us. And when your emotions guide you, you start making irrational decisions. You quit a job before you got another one. And then put all the pressure on God. But you didn't pray to God till after you quit the first job. You never asked God for wisdom. We need to be fixed. That's the way we're going to move forward. Is to be fixed. We got to understand that where we're going, emotions, and I said this last week, are contagious. You have to be very careful about who you sit next to in church. Don't let everybody lay hands on you in the church. You have to be careful, because feelings spread. You don't even know the person. Your friend hate them, you hate them. Don't even know them. They probably could be good for you. It might have been your friend jacked up. But because your friend don't like them, you don't like them. Your mama don't like them, I don't like them. My mama don't like them, I don't like them. Your mama jacked up. Your mama don't like a lot of people. You have to be careful, because he didn't say a person. He said feelings are contagious. Feelings jump like spirit. Yes, sir. Anytime a spirit get in you, it's not because it likes you. It's because of opportunity. Spirits only dwell in you because of opportunity. You really dictate what dwells in you. When you're angry all the time and mad, depressed, you have allowed that. You have set up a sign outside and say, hey, this restaurant's open and this is what I'm serving. Depression, anxiety, feelings, anger, stress. That's what I'm serving. Anybody want to eat, come eat. And the spirit say, hey guys, we got one. Let's go. We ain't even got to pay. Wow. You walk around a mess. Mad with everybody. You always right. When people always right, it's like the hot water in the car. The car is overheating. When people think they're always right. You watch them long enough, they will explode. Jesus. I'm telling you, they will explode. Because if you don't handle your emotions will handle you. Oh, they will handle you. No doubt. Look at Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Chapter 4, verses 4 through 8. Philippians, if you have it, say amen. Philippians chapter 4. It's in the new covenant. I'm going to give it to you tonight. I ain't got time to play. Philippians chapter 4, verses 4 through 8. I know these emotions got us jacked up, Deacon Dixon, because the Bible talks about emotions all through the Bible. Jesus Christ. And the peace of God, the peace of a Colt 45, the peace of a joint, the peace of a raise. Seriously, now listen, because we get good. We good when we get extra money. But if you're not delivered, it just reveals who you really are. Watch, when people get money, the first things they do let you know where they are. Somebody who's accustomed to paying tithes, I don't care what the increase is. First thing they do. That's what I do. Whatever it is, I go put it in my top drawer over in the corner. My wife nowhere. When God bless you, thank you. If I can't get it back to the church before they close out the finance room, I'm in the drawer over in the corner. Thank you. Thank you. I'm programmed like that. Didn't always be like that, but I'm programmed like that, church. Because I know I want to feed the sower. He said, if I feed him, there'll always be seed for me. So I have to program myself, and I have to get all these extra emotions out of my mind, out of my body, and out of my soul. They can no longer dwell in me because I want increase, not in just finances, but in who I am. Tell yourself, stop devaluing yourself. Stop devaluing yourself. Be honest and say, I need fixing. Look at what he says right here. Now look at this. Look at this. Look at Paul. Look at Paul. Look at Paul. Now look at Paul. Further, rejoice in the Lord always. And I will say it again. Rejoice. Whew. Rejoice. Rejoice. Let your gentleness be what? Evident to all. He said, let your what? Let your gentleness. That's an emotion.
Yes, sir.
He didn't say cuss them out. He said, let your gentleness. Hey, this is going to be tough. It's not tough like physics, like I don't know physics, or tough like calculus, like I don't know calculus, or I never could quite grasp statistics. This is going to be challenging because you're going to have to start exercising this. Once you hear it, it's on you. Now you're held responsible. So now you can start to identify these emotions. When you walk around and people have to speak to you first to make you feel good, you got problems. When people do that, that lets me know that they're not trendsetters. No, they don't set the tone. They don't set atmospheres. Make sure when I'm speaking there, how you doing? God bless you. Yeah, how you doing? God bless you. Watch that pep in the step. God might be killing me. How you doing? How you, God bless you. Built different. Built different because he had to fix me. Because I was broken. Sister Barry, I was broken. I tell you I was broken. In the church, an elder in the church, broken man with a full tank of gas. Going the wrong direction. There's a lot of people here who has a full tank of gas. The full tank of gas is your gift. That was like Mr. Barry. Your gift is your full tank of gas. You got a full tank of gas going nowhere. Wow. Don't put no effort toward nothing except the things that make you feel good. Wow. I got a full tank of gas headed south. That way. Not that way. That's south. Not that way. That's south. With a full tank of gas. He says it. He said, let your gentleness be evident to all. Whew, Jesus. Jesus. I'm in Philippians chapter 4, verse 4. Let your gentleness be recognized by all. Amen. Now, he didn't say it just at certain times. He didn't say just at Christmas.
Okay.
He didn't say just at Thanksgiving. He didn't say on payday Fridays. You have to develop it. You have to develop the gentleness. It's amazing at my job when I talk, because my job is really just put out fires all the time. First thing I say, hey, how you doing this morning? God bless you. So everybody always say, can I talk to Mr. Wynn? That's tell you, she'll tell you. All over the state of Georgia, I want Mr. Wynn. We need more people like Mr. Wynn. It ain't that I'm smarter than the people who work with me. I'm just gentle. I'm gentle. But I got some people in my unit who like to always show people on the phone how much they know. Y'all got some work, which you got some of y'all might be doing it. Every time the opportunity come up, the opportunity comes up to you, like you want to share about how much you know. Just be gentle. Jesus' gentleness helped camouflage him at times. He had to, man. He had to camouflage sometimes. It ain't good for everybody to know you. Amen. When everybody know you, normally you're an empty wagon making a lot of noise. He says, fix me. How do I get fixed? Well, first thing you do, let your gentleness be evident to all. Now look what he comes back and say next. He comes right back behind that, and what did he say? The Lord is where? Near. He says the Lord is near. Let your gentleness be evident to all, for the Lord is near. So the Lord is always close. His eyes are in every place. He's always watching. So even the times you get up there and talk behind people's back, He's watching.
Come on now.
When you get on the phone after church and text and talk about people, He's watching. When you get out here and tell people how you feel about the church, what you don't like about the church, this, that, you leaving, He's watching. He's watching. I don't have to watch. He protects me. I don't ever ask God, give me more, God, so I can hear what the people say. It drive me crazy. I saw Moses endure it. Lord, you got to fight that battle for me. Now look at him. He says, well, the Lord is near. Do not be anxious about what? Anything. Do not be anxious about it. That's another emotion. How many times? Is there anybody who get anxious in here? Yes. Tate, I know you get anxious. Game day, drums playing, crowd loud, spat it up. You get anxious. Your first year, you couldn't stand it. Couldn't wait. Mama down there, dead everybody down there, family down there. You couldn't wait. At Clark College, we was at the game. Couldn't wait. That Tate out there, I thought he was going to hyperventilate. He was anxious to get on the field. He wanted to show people what he was made of, the bloodline he came from.
Amen.
I watched it. But that's an emotional characteristic. Being anxious is characterized by feelings of tension. So when I'm anxious, I'm tense. I'm tense. It is by feelings of tension, worry, thoughts.
Amen.
When you're worried, you become anxious.
Come on now.
When you're anxious, you notice physical change.
Amen.
And we talked about this last week, how your heart rate increases. I said last week, you can tell when you're getting ready to have to rumble. That heart started beating a little faster. This is only for those who've been in some fights. Yes, the other ones, just trust me, I'm going to tell you, I hope you never have to fight nothing but the devil. But the first thing happens, you start, this going down, I can't get it. Especially when you know you can't get out of it, down here. Come on, help me somebody. You ain't always been saved. You know, right? You see that thing coming, you're like, we ain't going to be able to get out of this one, boys. You go ahead and take that watch off. And that heart start what? Start beating.
That's right.
Breathing. You start. But the cats who've been at it a while, they don't get there. They don't get up here. They might get here, but they don't get here. Because they've been at the first thing they do is control their breathing. Because they're not as tense. They don't have as much anxiety. When people was fighting Mike Tyson, you can tell in their corner, before the bell even ring, they like a horse. And you'll see Mike over there. Because all he's thinking, kill, kill, kill. One thing on Mike Tyson mind, kill and eat. That's just kill, kill, kill. Everybody else thinking about hitting, how I'm going to run, how I'm going to escape him for this many rounds. And that's why he had so many victories because people could never overcome anxiety. A lot of you today could be a lot more successful if you come to grips with the fact that I can do better if I start minimizing my anxiety. Something as simple as, I'm just not going to eat with y'all this weekend. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just not going. I'm going home. I'm saving some money this week. I'm starting something new. I'm trying to be fixed. Or let's just get something from the store and go to the house and cook and fellowship. But you have anxiety because I promise you, every time you go out, there's one person who went that shouldn't have.
Yes, sir.
Lewis, they don't like this tonight.
I love
They don't like it, Lewis. They looking at me crazy. They're ready for me to stop, but it's the truth. Every Sunday in every church, there's somebody went out with the group that shouldn't have went. And they food digesting differently from everybody else's food because they trying to now figure out how they going to live tomorrow. And they get to tomorrow thinking back on yesterday. They all tore up, and the Bible just told us in Isaiah, forget the former things. They created that beast. They created that monster. Created it. By making bad decisions out of anxiety. I wonder how many people have gotten married out of anxiety. God bless you, Lord.
my first one.
God bless you. Lord, I appreciate that. Somebody got delivered off of that. Lord said, I have my first one. His first one. So y'all don't be looking at Shantae getting on the phone out of church. Honey, I knew it wasn't going to work. Child, I told you, give him 6 months, it's over. Well done. People want something so bad till they're willing to give up everything for something that's not worth what they're trying to give up for it. Because of anxiety. Has anybody ever went out and said, yeah, child, I'm treating myself. I can't, and then you tell yourself, Barry, I can't afford it. But honey, I'm treating myself today. Donnie, what drive him to do that? Dorsey, what drive him to do it? I get it. Emotions. It's Friday, I done worked hard all week. I'm thinking of first lady and the girls at the crib, I ain't going home yet. I don't work too hard this week. I get the boys on the phone, boy, where y'all at? Then what you saying, baby? What you saying, Buddha? I'm saying this is where I'm going to be. Okay, well, I got a hookup at the bar.
Yes, sir.
Tell the truth, Elder Tension, shame the devil. Tell the truth, Elder Billy, you've been with me.
Yes, sir.
These cats who know they ain't on lie up here. Get in now and always tell myself I ain't staying but an hour. I just want 2 cold ones. I'm going home. I want to go home. Y'all please come back Sunday. Elder Billy, we used to meet. He come from College Park. I would come and I worked for this other lady in this business. She was paying me real good. He'll meet me down at this spot over by the fairground.
Yes, sir.
It'll be me and him. Next thing I know, we got 10 people around. Give me 10 shots. Yeah, give me 10. The other look at he just. We all put them up. I buy 2, 3 rounds. Then I go to the credit card. Okay, y'all high capping. I know I ain't the only one in here who was ever high cap. High capping is when you don't have it and you pretending like you do. Tell somebody you need fixing. I go to the credit card and Minister Hunt, I look up now, it's 9:45.
One more.
I got to go down the road of Golgotha. I got my own road of Golgotha. I created the road of Golgotha on earth. That was me going home to my wife when I done did wrong.
Come on, pal.
I go the long way. I try to get her on the phone and talk down some of the punishment prior to getting home. How many of y'all been there?
You just trying to fill out the
Now, she been calling me all night, and I've been going to call you back. I'm on my way. And it's ironic that now I want to talk on the way home. She don't want to talk. I have induced labor that's filled with anxiety. I'm going home breathing hard. Man, I don't feel like having to fight with her tonight. Man, I hope they sleep. Now, my wife goes to bed early. My wife at 9:30, 9:45, she's sleeping. She'll past 10. There got to be something really good going on. She's struggling to stay up on that. But every time that I sin, she never got sleepy. Her gifts came out. I walk in that house, that joke. Jesus. Well, I don't even want to talk about that. We're going to move on. That's what you call silent pressure. That's silent pressure. Nobody knows what you're really dealing with. Because some of our best arguments, and we both need to fix it. We both have been in the church a long time, Mother Ann. You was in the same church with us. We've been in church a long time, man, and we weren't really growing. It wasn't that the man of God wasn't preaching. I just wasn't ready to eat.
That's real good.
The man of God was preaching it. I just wasn't ready to eat. It wasn't his fault. We always blaming the pastors. If the pastor said, no, the pastor's preaching, man. You might have a few that probably not, but most of them getting it. You just ain't ready to eat. We be getting to church, boy, we be, when Morgan and we were young, we had some good ones. All the way to church. That joke got me sweating. I'm reeking everything. I'm tore up. Well, I'm smelling just like alcohol. I need to fix it. I need to fix it. And when we got out the car to show you how you can tailor your sin.
Tell them to sing, all right now.
When we get out the car, shut up! Hey, boy, what's going on, buddy? Hey, what's going on? First lady get the kids on out the car, they looking pretty, she going on in the church. Smile, how y'all doing? I'm right behind you. Baby. It was okay to go to church knowing that I had luggage full of issues. The thing that is so scary yet makes me so graceful today is for that many times I took back out that church that same luggage of issues that I took in with me. Because I wasn't ready to eat. I'm leery of people who go to church and can't tell me what the pastor's preaching. You're not even. When you're not driven by the word to get to church, if the choir has to drive you every Sunday, that's okay in the beginning. Right. But at some point, the word of God has to keep you there. Why do you think the Bible says sheep begot sheep, but it is the shepherd that keeps the sheep? It's what's the shepherd's feeding, the word. Some sheep come to church, they don't want to be fed. They just want to church. They want to feel good. They want to deal with the emotions. I went to church. But their lives doesn't speak to it because there's no way you can come into the realm of God and not start to see change. The change will never start on the outside. It always starts on the inside. The internal purging starts to develop, and you start noticing the first thing that you do is you start thinking, I don't want to smoke cigarettes no more. I know what they do to people. And yet I still do it. Ain't nothing good coming from it. It's just a habit I developed because I've been doing it so long. Brings tartar, cancer, and you're spending money.
Yes, sir.
I know it's bad, but yet I do it. I knew drinking was bad. After a while, it catches you. But I was still doing it. because emotionally I was a wreck. And with anxiety came many other issues. And so you'll be surprised. Ask yourself this. Thank you, Holy Ghost. Out of 365 days in a year, how many days are you truly filled with joy in your house?
Wow. Come on, Pastor. Wow. Oh, that's awesome.
Not at the church, Elder B, not at the church. Now, we can get up for church, but in your house. Out of 365 days a year, how many days are you purely just full of joy and peace? Wow. A pure heart. How many days? Or you can say over the last 2 weeks, how many days have been great days at the house? Had nothing to do with finances. Because that's a roller coaster within itself. People glad tax season come, and for those who have to pay, woo, it's rough now. So you got half the church, you got 2/3 of the church happy because they're getting it back. And then you got those over here who making just a little more money, they got to pay. And for about 2 weeks, I can tell the difference in the church of those people who got the income tax coming and those who got to pay. Those who got the income tax coming, they coming to the altar. Woo, woo, God can pay these bills. Yes. And the one who got the pay coming up here.
You preaching. You better pay them.
I've been paying tithes every time I get paid. Why me? I can't preach no lie. They've been faithful in the church and they got to pay. Somebody have coming, they get $5,000-$6,000 back. Why they ain't never got that much back? Even when I had a house, I ain't never, and I'm the only one working, I ain't never got $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. What are you doing? I got a wife and 2 kids, one in college, and I'm still paying no taxes.
Me too, Pastor, and I'm old.
If you're caught up in your emotions, it can be disturbing. It can be very disturbing.
Amen.
If you're caught up in your emotions. You have to think beyond your emotions and look and say, well, thank you, God. I eat good all year long. I thank you, God, I can pay for my daughter's school. It's expensive in New York. I think I got just enough to pay. You know, there's a great side to it, but your emotions will always take you to the dark place. They'll always take you to the dark place. I don't care how much he try to take you to dinner, dine and wine you. You'll be smiling. Oh, thank you. I really don't like roses, but thank you. And the whole time in dinner, you never enjoy it because you think about the slip-up he made. Or you thinking about what he's not. Them emotions, they nasty. Oh, those emotions are nasty. They nasty. See, most of us, people don't know what we're going through. They can sit right beside you tonight in church and not know what you're going through. You laugh and high-fiving, yeah, fix me. And they don't know what you're dealing with. You can be lonely in a crowd of people and no one ever know that you're lonely because you can camouflage it and smile. That's what's so deadly about emotions. I can hide the ugly ones to save my image. Pressure. Paul said he was under so much pressure that he wanted to die. Some of you in here tonight are at your breaking point. You've been at your breaking point for a while. and it just really starts to torment you because you're going in the same cycle over and over. And it might not be just somebody beating on you or cussing you out, but you're working the same job, getting further and further behind financially because the bills continue to increase and accrue additional interest, but you're not making no more money. You're giving and paying your tithes to the church, but you haven't seen increase yet. You're depressed internally and faking the funk externally. Some of you have issues that you've been dealing with for a while. Seems like success just ain't on your side. Truth be told, you're ready to throw in the white flag. Not on nobody else, but quit on yourself. Because your substance is gone. You need fixing. You can always tell those who need it the most because they always throw the blame, or as y'all say today, the shade on everybody else. They never take ownership of it and say, I have problems that I can't fix. I've gotten in over my head and I'm tired of swimming. I need fixing. Some of you know the way but refuse to because you've worked so hard up to this point. You don't think you can go another further. You just need fixing. This isn't the end. It won't always be like this, though it don't feel like that tonight. You just need a tune-up. You just need fixing. Some of you having family issues. You go home to a haunted house spiritually. You suffer. And you go to sleep just to get away from the mindset of reality. You need fixing. Some of you are on the edge. You're on the cusp of a nervous breakdown. You've started eating out of control. Even though we have the weight challenge, the spirit got on you where you started eating more. It just goes to show. Man can't drive you to do what your spirit refused to. The negative of that is your spirit has been reared to a place that it only wants to do the easy things. But your mind wants to grow. There's no way you can be great and be afraid to be stretched. You want better, you want greater, you want to be fixed, starting with your engine, your mind and your heart. Confess tonight that you need fixing. Confess tonight that it's been a while and you need to be reacquainted with salvation. You need to rebuild and rekindle your relationship with God. Quit fighting yourself. You are your worst enemy. You have what it takes to pay. You just don't want to pay the toll. The Bible said God knew his thoughts concerning us. They were good and not of evil, but to give us an expected end. You have to expect and want to be fixed. First thing I ask people when they come to marriage counseling, who's going through issues, they'll tell us their problems. I'll listen. And elementary as it may sound, After we pray, I ask them, do you want to be fixed? Do you want the marriage? Because if they don't want it, I don't care how many Bible verses I write down, how many creative ways I ask questions and try to get them to interject and start coercing and start communicating. If they don't want it fixed, it'll remain broken. Some of you in here tonight claim you want to be fixed, but you've become acquainted with being broken. That can change. It can change tonight. Stop speaking on your past. Start looking forward. Learn to let your pain promote you into your promise. That's how you can be healed. And you can tell in the selections that you make. When you're starting to be healed, you'll be more patient. You ain't jumping at the first everything. You're starting to forecast what's ahead of you. And you're more busy with what's going on in front of you than what's behind you. You can tell people who are out of order when they can't invest in their future because they're still paying the bills of their past. Jesus. Ooh, shall I keep that one for me? Look at your life. You can't enjoy your life because you're still trying to catch up on the bills of your past, your former things. And you can never start investing in your future. You can't start investing in a break. You can't start, investing in vacations because you're still paying off things from your past. Not the mortgage, crazy stuff. Suits you never wore, Lane Bryant credit card at the max. You was buying the stuff and you was outgrowing it before you can get it in the house. They laugh on the Sarah, but it's true. It's true. We need fixing so that we can do God's will. Fixing so that we continue to align ourselves with God. Fixing so that we refuse to be denied. Fixing so we can start having this determination and this zeal, this will, if you would, to continue to forge forward, refusing to be denied in every area of your life. As we stand. Tonight I speak against depression. I speak against anxiety. I speak against those who have cried for years and nothing has changed. That tonight your life